Hey folks, Papa Joe here. Just started this a minute ago and Mama called. Yeah, now I got a cigarette going, oh well. I want to try to tell you my thoughts, strictly my thoughts. No scientific proof, no biblical proof, just simply my thoughts on a subject of my son Nathan. He's the one that died in a motorcycle accident. He was 27, full of life, full of questions. And he was questioning God and the whole existence of God and the whole bit, which is good. It's healthy for young people to do that. In one of these recent videos, I'd been talking about the universities turning out kids that were smart enough to learn what they had been taught, but not smart enough to question what they had been taught. And to a degree, we're all like that at that age. The majority of us start questioning stuff and finding out for ourselves if we believe stuff is true and all this. We've all gone through it in one phase or another, I do believe. And he had got questioning me. He was trying to say there for a little while that he was an atheist. God showed me after he died that he's with him. But he had engaged in a conversation with me about the beginning of Earth. And he'd been watching different stuff on TV. And they've got some pretty convincing stuff out there to convince you whatever they're trying to sell. I mean, it's a sales pitch to me. He asked me about Earth's beginning, and unfortunately I wasn't wise enough to give him the answers that I have nowadays. And I was kind of like a fish out of water. This was all during the time when I just started my walk with the Lord. And I was questioning a lot of stuff my own self, which he knew, which might have been part of his motivation to ask me, I don't know. I've told you before that I don't think that we just had two big rocks show up out of nowhere and crash into each other and life began. We crawled up out of a mud puddle and eventually climbed down out of a tree, and here we are today. I don't buy it. I was sent a video, a YouTube video, and I'd watched it, and it was one of them deals where another one is offered up, pops up, and I started watching this next one, and I don't have a clue why. It's strange how that works sometimes. Why'd you hit your bright lights? It was a professor, doctor, and whatever. And he was allowing that the powers to be, or the scientists and whatnot, I don't like the way that's hitting me in the eye, that they was admitting that they did not have the answers for where these two big rocks came from. I mean, out of nothing came two big rocks that crashed together. They were also admitting that one big crash of them rocks would not get us to where we are now, that it would have took 3 or 4. Going off the theory of the two rocks crashed and life began. They also could not explain how this one cell life form that clumb up out of the mud puddle, how it could have split into so many different life forms. I mean, look at all the plants on the world. Look at them just in your country, whatever country you might be in watching this. Look at all the different plants. Well, there's those of us that have traveled around, we can tell you the plants we got here in America are not like the plants they got in the Philippines. Ones they got in the Philippines are not like the ones that they got in Australia. So how did this one cell life form split into all these different things? Now, not only the plants, now going by their theory, it had to split and form the living, breathing people and animals. How did it create all the different animals? Look at all the animals around the world. That's why they're saying that there would have had to been a whole lot of banging going on to make this happen. I'm glad to hear they're finally admitting it, that they really don't have any proof to back up their Big Bang Theory. What's his name? Darwin? The Darwin theory that says we came from the monkey. And he never could explain where that first one came from, how it went from being a monkey into man. He could not actually explain it. And if you'll do some research on him, if I'm not mistaken, I do believe that towards the end of his life, he was not backing his evolution plan. And he had decided that the Christian plan sounded more logical. So, look it up and see. Now, Nathan's questions to me was, how did I think that the earth had grown or been made and grew into what it is? And he told me, I really don't want to hear about God's time ain't the same as our time and all this, because we don't know if 1,000 years of our time is a second of God's. We don't know. Never will know until we get there. I do believe in the beginning there was God. And he said, let there be light. And it all started. Can I explain it? No. You know, we all have that one question: where did God come from? In the beginning, there was God. That's all I can tell you. By the same reasoning, on the Big Bang Theory, where'd the rocks come from? Where'd God come from? Where'd the rocks come from? Can't neither one of us explain where they came from. They just was there. Huh. Now, I done gave you my explanation on the Big Bang. We don't know where either one came from, so we've covered that. So now, from somewhere, we have God. And He has godly powers. Let there be light. And He started creating. Don't have a clue how long it took. Don't know how long that first day was. Don't know how long the first night, the second day. Don't know how long any of that took. But He created earth. He set the boundaries for the water. He created the fishes and the birds and all this and told them go forth and multiply. So now He started the earth on its growth. Another question Nathan asked me that we need to touch on. Where did dinosaurs come from? Well, they came from God. It's hard to deny dinosaurs. The skeletons have been found. They were here. So how do you explain all of this? You remember a few nights back, I did the video on the 2 plants, and I told you my place was overgrown and I was doing all this different work and changing it up. And I even allowed that God had His plan and He was working on it. Well, since I've made that video, that just keeps ringing more and more true to me. He created all the plant life, and it got a little bit out of hand, just like my place did. Now, what in the world is He going to do with it? So He created critters. And He had these critters pruning the world that He had created. Some of them got to be some pretty big critters. Started getting to be too many big plant-eating critters. So now we have the meat-eating critters trying to keep those in line. And all it boils down to is God is trying to find that balance for what we need here. Don't know how long it took. It really don't matter to me how long it took. But then, as He got, or they, the critters, started getting stuff in line, and God is saying, that's pretty good. Go ahead and pull the shade on this one and call it a day. That's the only Big Bang Theory I see, is when He sent the meteor down here to crash into Earth to kill the dinosaurs, if that's what happened to them. I don't know. But the dinosaurs had done their job. So it's time for them to go. I think He worked this earth just like I've been working my farm. Just like y'all work any project you got going. Once he started getting it in the shape he wanted it in and said this could work, he created man. No, I don't think he created us from a monkey or out of a mud puddle or none of that. One of the last things that he did, he picked up that clay and formed man and breathed life into him. And we've been here on earth ever since messing it up. For us and him. Messing up earth and our goals here. Yes, I do believe he created the Garden of Eden. Why he ever let that devil in there, that serpent in there, I don't know. But we was created, from my understanding, to walk with God and to keep him company. There are those that say that to say God was lonely and wanted company is belittling God. And I don't think so. I think that anybody that has any degree of intelligence, and some that don't, politicians prove that, they want to converse and engage in conversation. He already had all of his angels and all this stuff created for his heaven, but they really couldn't engage in conversation with him. They worked for him. They didn't have free will. I think that's why he created man, is so that we could walk with him in the garden. And the Bible even tells us that he walked with them in the morning and of evening. That's why in the evening when he couldn't find them after they had ate the apple, why are you hiding from me? He could really see them. They thought they were hiding. I think we was created to hold conversation with him, to keep him company, which is why he likes us praying and talking to him. He wants company. He wants us to converse with him. Can we today hear his voice? Depends upon who you are and where you're at in your walk, don't it? I think, in my mind, to answer the questions of where the world came into existence, how, I think this will work pretty good for me. Is it what actually happened? I don't know. I wasn't here. There are those that call me old, but I ain't that old. I can believe what I've just told you, and I do, a lot easier than I can believe that two rocks appeared out of nowhere, banged together, and a life form crawled up out of a mud hole. And everything began from that. All the plants and the people and the critters. I don't see it. To have a intelligent being develop all this and create all this and set all the boundaries, yeah, I can go there. Trying to think if there's anything I need to add to it, and I just really don't think so. That's I'm pretty much good with that. I'll watch and see what it sounds like. I can drive down the road all day thinking about this stuff, and no, I don't videotape me going down the road. I did that a couple times in the beginning, and I didn't feel comfortable doing it, and it made for a lousy video. All the noise this plastic Peterbilt makes. But I'll be thinking about this stuff going down the road. Then when it's time to make the video, like tonight, I feel like I have forgotten something I thought about earlier I wanted to throw in. I don't think I have tonight. I think I'm satisfied with it. I'll watch it and see. That's my theory. Y'all remember, God loves you, so do I. Look at this earth He created for us. Got a lot of beauty in it, a lot of great stuff. Y'all have a wonderful evening now. Good night.